15 minutes of freedom here in the UK. So let me tell you the plan. The plan is in Oxford, and this has just been passed by the council, to divide the city here into, a bit of a squiggly city, into 6 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you will only have the freedom to operate in the part that you live. So if this is you, the idea is that everybody will live within 15 minutes of the things they need. 15 minutes of a school, 15 minutes of a doctor's, 15 minutes of a supermarket. And if you want to travel to the other zones in your city, or maybe soon your town, you will have to go out an approved route. You will have to journey around the outside of the city in order to re-enter another section of the city. This plan is supposed to be saving the planet. And the idea is that you won't simply be able to cross over into other sections of your city anymore. So if your mother, for example, lived over here, you wouldn't be able to just go across and see her. This would all be done via e-gates, electronic gates, and number plate recognition. You in your area will only be allowed within that 15-minute zone that you've been allocated. The number plate recognition will know if you leave your zone, and you can apply for permission, a permit to leave your zone and travel to another zone, but you'll only be allowed to do this about 100 times a year. This is real. I just have to stop and say that. This is actually being passed by Oxford Council. This is happening in the next 2 years, 2024 it begins. And if you use up all your 100 passes that someone designates whether you're allowed to have to go into the different zones, you'll be fined. Your number plate will be recognised. It will observe that you've gone somewhere you're not allowed in your own city, and it will fine you £100 or £80 or whatever the fine number is.
Before the recent lockdowns around the world, we led hectic lives with long commutes and not enough time to spend with our families and friends. Traffic polluted our air and smog blanketed our skylines.
What if it could be different? What if we could create a new normal where we reclaim our time, our health and well-being, and our communities?
This is the idea behind the 15-minute city, a growing movement to make our lives in cities more convenient, less stressful, and more sustainable. A 15-minute city is one where everything we need is close to home, where communities are safe and inclusive, where the air is clean.
A 15-minute city is one where it's easy to get goods and services. Fresh groceries, healthcare, and other amenities are all just a short trip away. A 15-minute city is one where everyone has a place.
A 15-minute city has affordable, accessible, and adaptable housing for households of all sizes and ages.
A 15-minute city means that you can work close to home or work remotely more often.
And we all play a role in our neighborhood.
What if we don't go back to life as it was?
This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
What if we already have the power to change how we live? Together, we can reimagine and create the future we want. One that is cleaner, safer, healthier, and more inclusive, and gives us back valuable time to enjoy the little things.
The 15-minute city is a United Nations and World Economic Forum plan because they care about you, aka want you to drive less, for starters. In the World Economic Forum's own words, this rearrangement of cities is absolutely about climate change. Quote, as climate change and global conflict cause shocks and stresses at faster intervals and increasing severity, the 15-minute city will become even more critical, end quote. And the solution was the pandemic. They really say that part as well. To this end, Oxfordshire County Council, which is run by Labour and the Liberal Democrats and the Greens, want to divide the city of Oxford into 6 15-minute districts. The council plans to cut car use and traffic congestion by placing strict rules on car journeys. The idea, you should be able to do everything within 15 minutes. Residents will have to register their evil cars with the council, and they'll be tracked to count their journeys through the key gateways. Under the new proposals, if any of Oxford's 150,000 residents drives outside of their designated district more than 100 days a year, they then could be fined £70 to be paid in Metagreta GovCoins. It all sounds ridiculous to suggest a lockdown for the climate, but if you listen to the BBC, they're working awfully hard to persuade us, connecting the 15-minute city to the fun of COVID lockdowns and setting all this up as though it's totally normal to have the government choose your friends. Quote, how 15-minute cities will change the way we socialize. That's the headline from the BBC. And look out, it ain't just Oxford. Turning up in Brisbane, Melbourne, Barcelona, Paris, Buenos Aires, and of course, to my complete lack of surprise, Portland. But Oxford City Council seems to be moving faster than all those other places. Oxfordshire just approved on November 29th the traffic filters trial, which will turn the city into a 15-minute city. The trial will start on January 2024. The trial is capitalized, like the Kafkaesque hellscape these so-called progressive elites are trying to ram us into. We've got the links to the United Nations site, the 15-Minute City, and 15minutecity.com, putting people at the center of urban transformation.